Live from the studios of Barcelona, Spain, it's Slade Suter. Live on Authenticity Radio.
Slade Suter, live on Authenticity Radio.
It's a radio show about real people and real authentic talk. And now, your host who has the hospitality of a fat and jolly innkeeper, Slade Suter.
Thank you very much. This is Slade Suter, your hospitable voice on the airwaves. Today, I am going to be facing the darkness within, and I am very happy I'm not alone. You, my dear listeners, are here with me. We're going to be facing our internal darkness together. Facing our darkness may be a very important step toward consciousness. It may be the most vital beginning step in order to make consciousness happen. Because today, we have a wonderful guest who can make this happen. We have a pen and notepad advisory. You will not want to miss a precious word from my special guest today, Okokon Udo. He is the CEO of Distinctive Leadership Options and the founder of Intercultural Leadership International Incorporated. Now that is a big title, and he is a big man to fill that title. I met Okokon 3 years ago. He was a CTI leader in a leadership program that I took, and I'm just thinking that it's really a shame that this is not a videotape, because he's one of these people that is really fun to watch. He has a huge presence. However, I am sure that you will recognize that through his voice. Okokon Udo, welcome.
Thank you very much, Slade, for that introduction. Greatly appreciated.
Well, you know what? There you go. What do you think, listeners? Did you hear it in his voice? You are incredible, Okokon, and really thank you for being with us here today. So,
you're welcome.
Okokon, who are you, and where do you come from?
Wow, that's a big question. And if I go back to my ancestral roots as an Ibibio from the southeastern part of Nigeria, my first question to you would be, how much time do you have? Because that question can really go deep.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to be facing our internal darkness, so go as deep as you need to in order to fulfill where we want to go today. So who are you, Okokon Udo? And where do you come from?
So I am a man, male. In consensus reality, if you think in terms of boxes, I am considered black, African by origin, Nigeria to be specific, but now living with my family in the United States. And how I show up in the world leads me to describe myself in a variety of ways. One is that I am a global citizen, and that means that as I have journeyed through life, I have the freedom to claim wherever I am or wherever I choose as my home. And the other piece that comes with that is that I describe myself as a hitchhiker who depends on the generosity of people that I meet, to get me from place to place and to take me into their homes and support me in who I am becoming and what I am doing in the world.
Wow.
So, I think that should do it for now. And I am married and I have 3 amazing children and a wonderful wife.
So you're a hitchhiker.
Yes.
You are hitchhiking kind of like globally.
Yeah, across the globe, yes. And I'm running into amazing people. I ran into you in Spain.
Yes, you did.
And many other people from very many different countries and cultures and backgrounds and beliefs and practices. And what I discover from those experiences is that I become greater than who I was before those encounters.
So yes, I would say that you are a global citizen and your hitchhiking has met with great success so far.
Thank you. The journey is still on, so far so good.
We were having this discussion before,
Mhm.
and we were talking about conflict resolution. And you started talking to me about working with the darkness within. So this is really intriguing to me, and I'm excited to learn more. So you just finished a master's in conflict facilitation.
Actually, not quite. It will be done in January, but I'm in the home stretch.
Okay, so you're almost done.
Mhm.
And you have learned some mighty big morsels of information.
Mhm.
And one of those little pieces is working with the darkness within inside of ourselves.
Wow. I think you are touching on something really, really deep. I am not sure if that was what they set out to teach me. But the process itself was this total immersion into what I will call inner work. And when any one of us is engaged in that process, it means that you are opening your entire being at all levels, body, mind, soul, spirit, however you may categorize that, up for examination, for critique, not just from the outside. But for me, especially, it was one of those one of those sneak peeks into the inner kind of recesses of my soul that I hadn't allowed myself to get to, up until then. How you get into your room and once in a while, because you are looking for jewelries or something, you open some drawers and you're in a hurry because you're heading out.
Yes.
That is what we tend to do with our lives too. I had never really settled down into looking at those drawers, like exactly what are in these drawers, and process work forced me to do that. And when I did, there were things that were familiar that I recognized, but there were many things that surprised me. And that is what you are bringing up. I discovered, the not so pretty, dark parts of my life that I had glossed over in pursuit of excellence, success, looking good on the outward, being approved by people and by society, and appearing successful, which is kind of like the facade that most human beings, but certainly I myself, hid behind.
So you found pieces of yourself in these drawers.
Yes.
Did you find these yourself, or did somebody shine a light in these drawers for you?
Many people. The process work experience that I'm going through allows me access to any number of instructors. 3 of them, to be specific, are on what is called my study committee. So those are like the 3 people that are like shepherding me through the academic process, because it's also an academic process. But I also have access to dozens of faculty members, and get this, the average number of years of experience in the field that these amazing men and women have is anywhere from 23 to 25 years in the field.
Wow.
And so you are getting the best, and they specialize in holding the container for you to do all levels of exploration in an atmosphere that feels very safe and grounded. So I basically took advantage of it.
The process work was actually in the master's program itself?
Yes, that's what it is called. It's called process work, the orientation of the school and the program. And conflict facilitation and organizational change is just like a specialty area within that body of knowledge. Okay. So my motivation, as you would know, is once you have discovered self-discovery, inner work, you can never have enough of it. So I have been going for one or another of such experiences, I would say actively, all of my adult life. And it seems like the more I seek them out, the deeper they are getting, because process work has certainly blown the lid off of whatever I thought inner work was about.
So could you give us some examples of what you stumbled on during this process work?
Oh, absolutely. The one that is engaging me every single day, that I am digging into, that will form the focus of my final project for graduation, is the discovery of my internalized sense of oppression. So my own marginalization, my own internalized oppression that have been a part of my life at different levels, but I have never given attention to, because I have been literally trying to run away from it and seeking all the outward successes to try and quiet that voice down.
Can you share that with us today? A little bit about it?
Absolutely. So I said in my introduction that part of my identity is that I'm a black person. Okay? And you would know from history that whether you have been in Africa or you have been in the diaspora through slavery or some other, kind of hurtful and sad parts of our global history, that there has been dimensions of marginalization that have colored both the identity and the experiences of people who are like me. And mine happens to have been, the colonial parts of my cultural experience, as a country that was colonized. And along with that also came the aspects of religion. Religion basically imposed new beliefs on people who had access to God. And this might be of interest to you. One of Africa's theologians, John S. Mbiti, says, before Christianity or other religions came to Africa, Africans were already incurably religious. So nobody was introducing God to Africa. God was already there, actively at work. But what people failed to do was understand God that was already present. And so they sort of tried to wipe that other God, off by calling the African way of being animism, and other kinds of stuff, and imposing other religions. That has created a lot of internal conflict, in people's minds and faith structure. So for me personally, you can imagine all of those stuff. Of course, I became Christian. Of course, I even became a clergy in the Christian tradition. And so I got immersed in all of this stuff. What didn't happen in the process was there was no self-reflection, because I had no choice in what I was doing and who I was becoming. But now that I was able to take a look at that, if I had a choice, who could I have been? What could I have done? And what baggage am I carrying because of some of this handed down, ways of being in the world? And I discovered that there were limits to it. And of course, there were also stressors to it, because I was caught in a system. And I'm talking about a world system that has images, assumptions, and beliefs about who I was that wasn't true to who I really was.
Now, did you buy in to this image from the world system of yourself to the point where you actually believed it?
So I live in the United States of America. As part of my identity, when I am completing any form, and you have to check a box about who you are. You are either, white, black and African American, other,